travel into a catalyst for transformative change. So I'm proud to announce Travellers.
We were desperate to find someone, desperate to be somewhere for, a long... To settle.
No.
And then everyone was like, yeah, gospel car, wow, what a wonderful idea, that's great. And again, more help from...
Oh my goodness, let me spill this tea because it is piping hot. The prince, who once had Britain completely wrapped around his finger, just got a harsh reality check. Prince Harry's recent trip back home didn't feel like a royal visit. It felt like walking straight into a brick wall. No crowds cheering, no excited supporters, no warm family welcome, just silence. And that silence was so loud it screamed louder than any headline. This wasn't a small oversight or a quiet little return. No. This was Britain making a statement. A cold, calculated, and crystal clear message that they're done with him. And honey, let me tell you, nobody saw it coming to this extreme.
We love you, Harry. Thank you, Harry. Thank you so much. Thank you, Harry. Thank you.
Even his harshest critics couldn't have predicted this level of snub. The boy who once carried the title of People's Prince has now learned the hardest truth. Once love is lost, it doesn't come back easily. What unfolded next? Even those who have been predicting his downfall were left gasping. Because this is not the end of Harry's saga. Oh no, this is just the beginning of a whole new royal drama that's about to shake everything we thought we knew. The curtain has only just risen.
You didn't believe she was dead?
For a long time. I just refused to accept that she was...
So picture this. Harry lands back in the UK, reportedly expecting this long-awaited reunion. Insiders whispered about it, hyped it up, made it sound like it was going to be a grand moment. But when reality hit, darling, the air couldn't have been colder. There was no crowd, no banners, no family waiting, no buzzing excitement. Just silence. Heavy, awkward silence. And believe me, that silence said more than any Buckingham Palace speech ever could.
So here's the situation. King Charles is days away from a critical decision that could define his leadership and...
This wasn't just another ordinary arrival at Heathrow. No, this was rejection, broadcast live on a national stage. The same man who was once adored across the entire kingdom has now become someone people openly label as unwelcome. The whispers in pubs and tabloids have now grown into loud disapproval. Not a single royal aide to greet him, not a single family member stepped forward, not even one sympathetic cheer from the public. Just a lonely homecoming that screamed, "You're not wanted here." Britain's message was sharp and direct. Harry isn't welcome anymore.
Harry didn't just return to the UK, he walked straight into a wall of silence. No buzz.
And why? Well, let's be honest, he's been branded a disappointment. Once upon a time, he wore the roles of soldier, prince, Diana's beloved son with pride. But now, that respect has crumbled into endless controversies. Remember the Oprah interview that rattled the monarchy like an earthquake? Or the Netflix deals that made headlines for all the wrong reasons? To so many in Britain, he no longer looks like a struggling royal trying to find freedom. He looks like someone cashing in. Once the victim, now the opportunist. That's the transformation people talk about. And the truth is, Britain has simply moved on. Behind palace walls, sources whisper that no senior royal has the slightest interest in playing peacemaker. King Charles has his duties. William is preparing for his crown. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has time for Harry's never-ending dramas.
Seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorite.
Many people doubt Meghan has long been a mother following her
And here's the kicker. There's no appetite to welcome him back. That's not my tea, darling. That's straight from the lips of royal insiders. Palace staff who once adored him, who once worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make his public image sparkle, now can barely hide their frustration. Allies have turned cold. The people who once helped him shine have redirected their efforts to William, Kate, and the causes that still matter to the crown. The royal machinery, once his safety net, has officially shut down on him. The security he once had on speed dial, now a topic of exhausting negotiations. The media coordination that once flowed so easily, dead and gone. Even the charities he championed have started quietly slipping away, passing the torch to new patrons, new royal faces, and new energy. The monarchy doesn't stop for anyone, not even a prince who was once considered vital to its future. So don't think this frosty reception was some accident. It wasn't. This was deliberate. It was the firm hand of both the palace and the public, making their stance known. Harry isn't being overlooked. He's being erased, slowly but surely, erased from the very heart of a country that once celebrated him. The truth? He walked away from tradition, slammed the door shut, and thought he could just waltz back in whenever he wanted. But darling, once that door closes, it doesn't just swing open again at your convenience. It stays shut, and here's where it gets even worse. The sympathy card? Oh, that's gone too. At first, people pointed fingers at Meghan. They blamed her for pulling him away, whispering that she was the one tearing him from the crown. But now? Oh no, people see it clearly. Harry made his own choices. He had every chance to balance duty and personal life, but instead he burned bridges. Every interview, every accusation, every dramatic memoir, all his own doing. And what the public sees now is a man who once begged for fairness but now looks desperate for recognition, because in Britain, royals survive on dignity and silence. And Harry, he traded both for attention and contracts. And you know what makes all of this sting even harder? How fast it all flipped. Harry once had the entire nation's love. He was Diana's boy, the soldier prince who made people believe the monarchy could actually feel human. He was the cheeky royal who brought warmth into the coldness of tradition. But now he's become a walking example of wasted potential. What should have been pride has turned into pity. People look at him and just see bitterness that has clouded his judgment. And let's be real, the goodwill he once had, completely drained. At first, people gave him grace. They understood his pain, even cheered him on when he chose love over duty. But the endless interviews, the repeated complaints, and the money-making deals, they've turned admiration into pure exhaustion. People are simply tired of the same sad story on repeat. Harry's constant need to criticize his own family in public, to drag tradition into the spotlight for the cameras, has destroyed the sympathy he once had. Every project now looks like an attack on the royal family, and while it once felt bold, now it just feels petty. Back in the day, Harry's name lit up the room with pride. Now, it just sparks irritation. Across Britain, people roll their eyes. They don't even want to hear it anymore. The man once called the people's prince has become the man nobody wants to claim. Adored? Number? Ignored? Yes. The public is completely done with the endless rants, the memoirs, the Netflix projects. What once felt like a heartfelt cry now feels like a cash grab. And the more Harry paints himself as the eternal victim, the more obvious it becomes. This isn't bravery. This is dependency on the spotlight, and it's so clear now. His cycle has trapped him. Tell his story, complain, cash in, repeat. The public sees it and they're over it. No more curiosity, no more loyalty, just annoyance. Every new interview feels like a rehearsed performance, and the audience, they've tuned out. Harry has become the royal people wish would just stay quiet. And let's be real, people can tell the difference between genuine passion and performative activism. And Harry's latest antics? They land squarely in the latter category. And so, the UK isn't just rejecting Harry's presence, they're rejecting his voice. They don't want to hear his opinions, his sob stories, or his so-called truth anymore. For someone who grew up adored in the global spotlight, this silence is the cruelest cut of all. Even the tabloids, which once couldn't get enough of him, now pile on with harsh headlines: irrelevant, desperate, faded royal. Critics argue he's lost the dignity that once separated him from the celebrity circus he mocked. And here's the twist. It's no longer about Meghan. The finger now points squarely at him. Harry once symbolized hope for a modern monarchy. Relatable, charming, willing to bend tradition. But that charm has soured into bitterness, and the public sees right through it. His every move feels calculated. Once he was the golden boy of the tabloids. Now, they treat him like yesterday's gossip. Royal correspondents barely bother to mention him unless it's to highlight another mistake. The fascination has turned into indifference. And in the celebrity world, indifference is the kiss of death. Now here's the painful truth. Britain doesn't just tolerate him less, they've moved on completely. William and Catherine are adored, King Charles garners sympathy despite his health challenges, and Harry, he's the forgotten prince chasing relevance. Even the press that once defended him against paparazzi now shrugs at his every public stunt. When the media stops caring, you know the public has already shut the door. And oh, the heartbreak of it all. Harry once had everything: respect, admiration, a real role in the monarchy. He was that modern prince, relatable and human, a bridge between the crown and the people, but instead of building on that, he chose bitterness. And bitterness doesn't sell forever. The institution has proven it doesn't pause for anyone. Charitable work continues, the monarchy adapts, and engagements go on without him. The family has shown they can function perfectly well without the prince who once seemed essential. And here's the dagger to the heart. There's no place left for a prince who chose fame over family, profit over principle. Britain has drawn its line. The people have moved on. The silence Harry faced this time was the loudest rejection yet. Not just from his brother, not just from the palace, but from the public. The public doesn't just ignore him, they no longer care. And that's the worst fate for someone raised in the world's spotlight. Even those who once supported him, who defended his decision to walk away, now sigh with disappointment. Some even roll their eyes, saying he's pushed it too far. The memoirs, the interviews, the accusations, they've drained whatever sympathy was left. He has turned his own story into a cycle of oversharing. Interview, complaint, cash, repeat. And people see it for what it is. Even royal commentators who used to give him the benefit of the doubt now admit he's alienated himself beyond repair. The transformation is complete, from beloved prince to irrelevant celebrity, from Diana's son to a man Britain wishes would fade from their headlines. And it doesn't stop there. Insiders whisper that even his friends are distancing themselves. The allies who once cheered him on are going quiet. The charities he loved? Many have found new royal patrons. Even those who once believed his grievances now say he's become too dependent on the spotlight. Harry's endless need to stay in the headlines has cost him everything. He's no longer seen as brave or authentic. He's seen as calculated. And here's the gossip that really burns. Britain has made its choice. They've chosen William and Catherine, they've chosen loyalty to the crown, and Harry, they've turned the page on him completely. The silence at his arrival wasn't cold, it was final. It was Britain telling him, "We're done." The boy who once symbolized possibility now represents regret. The prince who once embodied rebellion with charm now embodies rejection. A walking cautionary tale of how fast love can turn into disdain when loyalty is questioned. And the cruelest part? Harry seems genuinely shocked by this outcome. He thought the people would wait for him, that the door would still be open. But in reality, he closed that door himself, and Britain has bolted it shut. He once believed his celebrity would outshine everything, that the interviews, the documentaries, the confessions would keep him relevant. But he lost the one thing a royal can't afford to lose: respect, and no amount of California sunshine, no Netflix deal, no tell-all book can bring that back. The monarchy has moved on. The world has moved on. The only one clinging to the past is Harry himself.